this guy as a coach, or what are your opinions on this guy? So if you are a coach out there looking for a team to coach, send your resumes into the Optic organization.
That's it. Anyway, we are into the game, so it'll be Luminosity on the CT side, Optic on the T side, and we have a pretty clear display of what's coming, and seemingly Luminosity have a good idea too. 3-man stack towards B and already fallen, gonna first claim the scalp of Maxwell, who already called out for doing well, and Nav, how is he still alive?
Yeah, I mean, this is just hectic. It's a correct call from Luminosity on the stack. It just got a little crazy. Fallen actually fell back to the wrong spot, so he kind of put his teammate into a really awkward position. Now Cold, this is a guy who's feeling like a hot hand, but it's not going to work here. He's got to reload. He's somehow still alive.
What is going on?
Yeah, the VIP armor. Now FNX, this has bought so much time for him to rotate over.
Yeah, this is the weirdest pistol round I've seen in a while. Not surprising how it's kind of come down to this after so many shots were missed, but now FNX's position, I think they've got a really good idea where he is. And it's down to Daps and Rush to try and play around with this one. Going to fake out the bomb there. Rush just going to try and bait him in. And actually, FNX just scalps down Daps.
That's a really, really poorly played 2-on-1. They bait him out, which is fine, but when Daps is the only one swinging wide to take advantage of it, it's not going to work too well. Now FNX even has Rush very low, 22 HP. He doesn't have a kit, but obviously a huge advantage.
Yeah, and Rush isn't backing. He's seen a glimpse of him. He's caught the tag, but somehow Rush does manage to close that one down and recovers what was a very sloppy round from both sides. As you said, some issues maybe in that 2v1 facing solo after trying to bait it out and just kind of falling trap of, well, what he kind of set. So again, yeah, just finding out that they were low there. FNX just asking, like, please tell me you were low at that point.
So stressful when you can't get that kill. Huge find for Rush, 4 kills, and you can see, I mean, there wasn't even a shout of like a celebration out of Optic. That was more relief because they know they probably should not have gotten away with that one. But either way, they do take the pistol, and this is now where it gets a little bit scary for Luminosity if they don't respond in this round because they are fully invested. As we know, Inferno, these first 5 rounds for counter-terrorists are so important. This can dictate a lot of how this half goes. If Luminosity, or if Optic runs up that 3-0 scoreline, going into the first gun round, if Luminosity can't sustain there, then the 5 rounds on a T side for Optic, it's already a good half, and everything on top of that is just gravy. Don't like the gravy one, huh?
Yeah, I'm all about that gravy, but don't you worry. Anyway, it looks like that 4-man play up towards B is coming through. We all got Stanislaw coming through as well, but actually Fallen's done a bit of damage and he's still alive, but he can't make much else of it, as the scout was already overrun and Cold Zero also got picked up pretty early on.
That's a huge kill from Rush. The tag that Fallen had and then the nade that followed up. Look how low this HP is. That basically makes that scout a one-shot kill on 3 members, and for Rush to hit that shot as he slides into the site is massive. There's still a little bit of danger with that CZ, but Nap's going to handle that. Flashbang comes out as well. This is pretty much over for Luminosity. They have no kit, so the retake doesn't really have a chance, but they can clean up some kills on the way out.
Exactly that. Taco and FNX are relatively close still, maybe just desperately looking for these exits. They know how damaged these guys are, so... Ooh, Taco can hit one more shot on that. Well, 2 more players are pretty much one-shots here almost with that 5-7, but they are going to manage to make their way down. Mixwell's escaped, Stanislaw has escaped, and... oh, yeah, Rush has made it out as well, so they're pretty much good to go here. And FNX, can you make it out there in time? Nope. Doesn't manage to keep hold of that scout, nor the armor, so Taco stays alive at least. And I do apologize for the way I say Taco already, because I know a lot of like NA-based people, or just American in general, are like, that's not how you say Taco. Is it Taco?
Taco.
Taco. Yeah.
It's not Taco.
I can't help it.
It's all right.
I apologize.
I've been around these weird accents for a couple days now, so
weird.
We're all good.
I don't know how I'll take that one.
You guys
but
don't speak proper English.
I'm just not going to listen to that. 4 players towards A here. 4. Luminosity just going to stack it out, and well, Taco, the only player who did manage to keep hold of that armor in 5-7, is the man soloing out on B, and sadly for him, already receiving a hell of a lot of damage. We're down to 50, well, under 50.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure still for Optic over towards this B site. Mixwell is just going to smoke that off. He'll be the one to probe for pressure. He's waiting for any kind of a response, any kind of a pop flash, any kind of a swing out and peek. And now the timing of it, now he's going to push in, and Taco actually forces him back a little bit, so keeps him passive, but there's a really, I mean, this has got to be a solid rotation. This has got to be a big find for Luminosity here.
Boom's spamming through the smoke. And already said, Mixwell was leading that way, trying to be the man to probe out, find these positions, take the shots on it. Bearing in mind, we still have the Mac 10 as well with Daps, so there's a lot of damage to be done. And there you go, Mixwell going to be adding funds to the account, being built up here for Optic. They're keeping this round nice and clean as much as they can. Stanislaw getting a little hungry here. Goes hunting towards CT Arch, actually loses out to FNX, so that's a UMP, I guess, to hand. I'm not sure how much he can get done with this as he is being chased down here, and that Mac 10 is going to be led right through CT Arch, and ideally, to claim a couple more kills.
Oh, the bait, and he's going to get him in the end. Now he's got to realize he's one to the right. Nice play from Daps. One thing that Optic has done in these first 3 rounds, they've been very aggressive and very confident and decisive in how they peek and take fights and take their shots. And they've hit some very nice ones. You think Rush has had a couple very good rounds, obviously the 4-kill on Pistol, but that follow-up on a Fallen in the next round. And normally that's where, you know, a team like Luminosity that's such a big favorite is going to force you to make plays that's going to make them respect you. And it seems like in these 3 rounds, Optic's off to at least a good start in that department. If they can win this first gun round, then they'll definitely have the respect of Luminosity for the remainder of the half. And that's where you can start to actually execute some of your tactics.
And I love the commitment coming out from Luminosity then to get that deep banana control going straight down. You've got FNX and Fer both playing off the back of that. And Taco going to be heading over towards A. He was previously playing towards, I think he was actually on B at some point as well. They've been switching up a couple of positions here, but he's already fallen back, and it looks like we're going to have a bit of a quick hit coming out from Optic, making their way through towards A, but it's Stanislaw actually with the UMP still to hand, finding the kill. Daps follows up towards Coldzera, and now the only man who's originally on the A side is Fallen. He's now got some support coming in with Fer and FNX en route, but already the T side's pretty well set. They still have those mollies to buy a bit of time, cut off some angles on these retakes. This could be pretty hard for Luminosity here.
Yeah, that was a sick take, actually. Optic not scared whatsoever, just walking up and executing through the smoke with 1.5 minutes left, and Luminosity was not prepared for that. I mean, they didn't have a lot of utility, so you'd think that Optic would at least bait some out. They did a good job of it, but just running through that and Fallen, he's going to at least try for this, see if he can get 1 kill, but if this doesn't happen, they're just going to give this up, and it's at that point now where they're just trying to prevent any of the guns being saved. 2 players in pit are going to try and evacuate, but there's 1 member in mid for Luminosity, and actually Optic just pushes out towards CT spawn, so it's only going to be FNX who's here to stop this. That's a nice shot. He's got 2 more to deal with. He's going to get that one as well. This is well done, and Mixwell, he's going to chase after it, and FNX gets all 3. Now, obviously, with the win, the 4-round streak as well from Optic, and the fact that they're just a T-side economy, it's not going to be too damaging, but anything helps here.
Yeah, this is and for confidence alone, Optic know coming into this, they're going to be coming into the game as seen as the team who arguably aren't going to win this. As much as you as a player, you don't want to keep that mentality, you've got to know when you're the underdog. And this is great for their confidence, having those aggressive plays actually work out, hitting those shots, taking those sites, and keeping Luminosity pretty much humble to this. They can't be over-aggressive, and now the deny on the banana control comes out. You've got Mixwell and Daps trying to keep some presence here, playing pretty close to the smoke, but will back away eventually. Coldzera as well, respecting that. Falling off a little, they can replay towards banana control maybe later into this if they need to, but for now, this is actually a pretty well set match.
Some pretty good tactical calls out of Optic in these first 4 rounds as well. So now that they have Banana, I mean, so much control. This is essentially, Banana on Inferno, it kind of plays out like the mid. We've talked about it a lot in the past. It plays out like mid on most other maps where you have to have control of it to be able to go to between bomb sites. So Luminosity is kept honest, 2 over towards B. It's a default setup for Luminosity. And now it comes again where it's just going to be the pretty early execute onto this B bomb site. And what do these defenders have to stop this?
Well, you've still got a couple of smokes left in the tank here, but Coldzera's flash is going to stop anyone going initially through. That's caught 3 from the Optic side. Here comes the spray down, and it's Coldzera finding 2. Stanislaw and Mixwell get shredded. Now Fallen, can he buy the time? Can he find the kills? Can he slow these boys down? Well, that's certainly a yes to that one. Fallen just claiming Daps, and now leaving 2 left standing for the T side, who have a little bit of work to do here. And Rush starting things off well, but Fallen above and beyond in that round, picking up some big kills, slowing that rush down, him and Coldzera with a lovely combination in the end. Yeah, the answer was they had 4 flashbangs to bomb in as soon as that execute came into play. So, I mean, Optic was completely blind. They got stopped in the choke point. That allows Cole to get a couple kills before Fallen can chime in. And now, due to the fact that they eliminated all the AKs in the previous round, the triple kill by FNX, this is where you see the impact of the economy they took away, because 3 AK-47s, 2 Tech 9s, and behind that, there's not a lot of money. It's only Rush who's got 1,600. He's at 8 and 2, but everyone else is you know, very, very low in their economy. So this is a good start, a good opportunity for Luminosity. Of course, Rush doing pretty well in the opening pistol rounds there, and it looks like Optic can go for that fast hit that actually caught out Luminosity before. And again, great start. Taco gets removed, and now FNX playing on the balcony has to play this absolutely perfectly. He gets faced by 1, that was Rush. He did manage to find him, but that's all you're going to get out of this. And Fer instantly backs away, tries to reset this a little and find a new avenue of approach. Oh, pretty clever. Mixwell throws the Molotov behind the smoke, and that actually forces that one Luminosity member, it's Fer, it forces him forward, so he's got to take this fight now. And Fallen and Halls, it's going to be the timing on Mixwell. When does he choose to push out? And there it is. Fallen finds him. Now he's going to get that kill. Now it's down to a 3-on-3 as the retake comes in. Fer's got to find the next one. Naf's at a good spot in Graveyard. And all the meanwhile, the bomb is ticking low. And Naf has a molly still to use, but Fer doesn't care at all. He's not found Daps, he's found 1 more. And there we go, eventually retaken. The molly didn't even come out. The timing on that retake and the precision was perfect. 1 by 1 taking the correct fights, and Luminosity just showing that they can play these retakes when required.
Yeah, it was all done. That crucial kill from Fallen, getting that one player in halls, and I think you could see him there. You could see him gesturing. That's twice now that this A bomb site, this defense over towards pit and balcony, I believe it's Taco and FNX, have gotten caught off guard by how aggressive and how there's no indication that's coming from Optic. They just explode. So Luminosity moving forward, they've got to be very, very cautious of that. And it's a small investment for Optic. They've bought through 2 rounds of losing. This time they're down to about 2K. That's where they bought out to. Tech 9 armor, a little bit of utility. It's going to be a B rush. First push right into it. He gets a little bit blind. Now Cold, what a tall task for him to do. And he sprays down one, but he can't get the response. The rotation is on, but they're going to beat him into the site.
And there's going to be a smoke picked up. They have a lot to create this play coming through here. And sure, there's a lot of damage received. That's going to be allowing Fallen to pick up Naf there, leaving the 3 left standing to try and get this one done. The retakes again have been pretty darn deadly, but that bomb is taking at least in Optic's favor, and Fallen with the first shot, but he corrects perfectly towards Mixwell and bringing it back to a 3v2 favorable to Luminosity.
Yeah, now he's just keeping the remaining 2 members of Optic pinned down. He's waiting for his teammates to arrive. Rush is very, very low. Taco has a Molotov to use, and he's over towards Banana, so he's going to get this angle towards 2 boxes. Yeah, he's going to get forced out. That's a perfect Molotov. He does get 1 kill, but he can't hide anywhere after that. Can't adjust the spray. So a 3rd round for Luminosity, but still Optic doing good work damaging Luminosity in these wins.
Yeah, plants coming through even on the retaken rounds, and I think there was a little bit of an issue then with the flash as well. I don't know who it was who tried to flash over by Dark, and they just got caught up by the top of the box, so they couldn't even make that quick play as they tried to take a challenge. But big buy coming out now, at least for Optic as well. They finally get themselves back in a decent position. As you said, they've been doing damage throughout these rounds, even if they're losing them. Of course, on the other side, Luminosity's still pretty well set here. Yeah,
Luminosity's still on an economic break kind of situation, where if they lose this round, like 4 members are going to be sitting right around 2K. So it's going to be very, very difficult for them moving forward if they can't take this round. 3 players towards the B bomb site. With all this utility used as well, Optic may choose again to explode up mid towards the A bomb site where they've had success. And on top of that, the retake would be so much more difficult because so much utility is used by those B players.
And you can see how passive Luminosity is sitting. Already, you've got Taco and Fallen sitting very deep in towards the site, focusing towards that, focusing towards Quad, and it's Fallen this time to try and deal with it, and dancing between the truck. You've got him and Taco just mowing down 3. The adjustment seems to have worked out really well here for Luminosity, and sadly, that really quick hit just didn't seem to connect from Optic until Daps just found 2 out of nowhere, but that bomb's lost in a pretty awkward predicament. He knows he's going to be closed in on from both sides. You've already got Fur going on that long way around to deny him going back towards second mid.
This isn't even necessarily, the triple push down B, that's played by Spawn, so the fact that Fallen's over at the A bomb site, he's never seen those kind of explosions, and he handles it perfectly. So now he can just look over at his teammates and see, like, guys, that's how you do it. That's how we do things. Of course, though, Fallen a better leader than I am, so we won't rub it in.
No, he's a humble man, unlike you.
Yes, far unlike.
But again, for Optic, a little bit of damage done, not quite as much as the previous round, not being able to kind of conjure up that bomb plant that they had before, or any of these sort of advantages. And as I said, I can imagine Fallen and Taco be like, all right, well, why did that work that round, guys? Come on, we can do this now.
It was similar positions, in fact, where Cold was, there was a round where Cold was in Graveyard and Taco was at the truck, and that was basically the same exact setup they just had with Fallen, and it works out for him.
It's just the way it goes sometimes. And now, of course, Optic, very, very little money here to work with. Still enough to get at least the head armor and a couple of flashes. P250s and Tech 9s to fill out their lineup, and go and try and take over some apps control here. And to be fair, Luminosity not particularly probing down B either, so Cold Zero and Fallen won't get that early information. And Luminosity, again, very, very deep a hold in this A side, taking absolutely no early challenges, maybe aware that this could be one of these Tech 9 rounds, and just not wanting to give up any sort of, I guess, recoverable weapons or easy kills for these guys.
The next kind of evolution in this match, Optic, this explosive tactic has worked a couple times, but now that it's been stopped a few, I mean, they'll probably try it at least one more time. Maybe they switch things up now and bring it back out later, but are they going to be able to be successful when they slow things down with rifles and they have to go for more of a pick style instead of exploding through the smokes, where it seems like Luminosity's kind of caught onto that? That kind of setup, I mean, those kind of tactics on the T side, you either catch someone with a nade out or you just catch them, napping a little bit. Luminosity is going to be prepared for all of that. I highly doubt they get caught with their nades out anymore. It's all going to be just stay with your guns out until you kind of know what's coming.
They've actually pulled Fur over towards B, and now here comes the hit. So they've only got 2 players to take down, and they do just that. Naf and Rush eliminate the 2 players who were holding the A side. Now they've got a plant opportunity here. Mixwell's already got himself towards Library, gonna find the kill towards Fur. That's giving them a really good shot. 2 recovered rifles. They still have the armor and the bomb planted.
Yeah, this is scary. This is a good opportunity, obviously, to recover and win this force buy scenario. And Luminosity, just when they rattle off 4 straight and they're starting to build up some money, it goes right back against them. Fall, and he's going to win that battle. Still time on the clock. Cold is patiently waiting for that. Now with the retake, there's no smoke for the bomb. There's only one flashbang for them to use. Rush is in a good spot. Naf is going to be over towards truck side, and they're just waiting for the tap. No one being aggressive. This is so well played from Optic.
Showing a bit of discipline here finally. Although the challenge does come out from quad, that's Naf, so he'll lose out on the gun there, but at the end of the day, timing is going to be everything, and Rush needs to play this well. And he does. Time was on his side anyway, but he does manage to close down the 2 final kills regardless, and that Tech9 play just seemed to work out well. I'm not sure what caused that rotate from CT Arch. I saw a flash towards Banana. I assumed it was one of Luminosity's, or maybe they just had that feeling that someone was coming our way. But yeah, cheating someone over pretty early towards B, leaving only 2 players away.
It might have been some kind of a read that because they hadn't seen that explosion quite yet. Optic hadn't done it, and when it did eventually happen, it just seemed like Optic got out pretty far out of halls before any kind of response was there. It seemed like there was maybe a miscommunication of what LG, who was watching what in that double pit setup, because Optic was already jumping out before that player we were spectating, who was at truck, even reacted to it. I think he was hoping that his teammate was going to be keeping an eye on that.
And there's always going to be the danger of when you play that deep that people can get that close, but that was maybe a lack of information gathering. But Taco this time, rather than finding information, finds a scalp of Stanislaw and gets a good bit of control on towards those apps. So good start there coming out for Luminosity, but this is still very much an early bit of the round. There's still a lot of utility to be played here with for Optic, should I say. So they don't really have to rush too much, but already coldzera waiting with that flash so patiently. Actually, Fallen getting caught out there with the flash as well. So a little bit of a back and forth, but no commitment yet from Optic.
It's still very, very spread across the map. It's going to start getting dicey for them. They do have 4 smokes. That's big, and they have 3 Molotovs. So you would expect with this much utility, and now especially that they know Fallen is over at Spindles, because I think they probably spotted out that he has a scout. That could just be an easy smoke off of Spindle. Maybe Molotov some of the other boxes just to make sure that second player Cold can't do anything. But it's definitely an opportunity because Fallen, this time he can't spray through any kind of smoke. He's got to hit some precision shots with that scout. So this is still a very dangerous situation in a 5-on-4.
Well, they're keeping these 3 players fairly dedicated. The flash and the smoke up mid will keep FNX, Fur, and Taco present at A, and here comes the hit. But the counter flashes are, again, so perfect from Luminosity, and coldzera finds at least 2 of these kills, ripping through Mixwell and Daps. And as you said, Fallen kind of pushed out of this one, but these 2 remaining players have so much work to achieve now for Optic.
Even damage done by FNX through the smoke, and this is tough. They're both pinned down on the same side of the bomb site. There's no Molotov, no nades, though. So it's got to be duels 1. Fallen, it looks like he's going to lead the way, at least hold an angle with that scout. Naf, he's got to hit this shot, not able to do it. It's all down to Rush. And he's got 4 to kill. They line up, he gets 2. Time to reload as well.
1v2 now. Rush has to play this absolutely perfectly. Bomb is planted in his favor, taking the fight towards FNX. He gets that. Now it's 1v1 against Fallen. Fallen with the scout just flies in. He knows time is against him. He doesn't have a kid to hand. And Rush going above and beyond for Optic. That was almost impossible. And a sick bit of play, again, will push him further and further towards that top of the scoreboard.
17-5 for Rush. He's had one hell of a start to this game. Sometimes you just can't account for these performances, or these individual efforts. You can see Fallen, he plays this so well. You can see he's just holding one side of the box, waiting for Rush to peek out, and he never peeks out wide enough. So then at the end, finally, when FNX falls, he's got to be the one to man up and go for the kill. But with that scout, it's the worst weapon to have to do that, and that's so tough. So Luminosity's been reset. This CT side has been a disaster.
It really has. You start taking account of what actual scoreline we're seeing. Optic are really putting up a challenge. At the start of this, I was like, okay, well, it's going to be a matter of time, right? It's going to be a matter of time until Luminosity start working things out. But actually, Optic getting 6 rounds already on the T side is actually pretty impressive.
It's one of the things that I talked with Zeus about is, oh, your Inferno is really strong. He's like, well, it depends on the day. It also depends on if we can win pistol and if we can win that 4th round. And they did neither of those. Now, they did win the 5th, but this map, because it's so CT-sided, your CT side becomes so weak and dangerous. It becomes such a bad half if you just get reset at the wrong moment. And right now, it's looking like that moment just occurred for Luminosity.
And they're trying to bait out to allow Fur, I think it was Fur there, yeah, the chance to actually do something. But they're only going to find Dabs on Banana, and Dabs is doing the damage anyway. So now Taco... What was that? That P250 was absolutely insane. And now taking his time towards Stanislaw. And instantly Mixwell knows that he needs to get there fast because this guy was about to go off on that. That was 2 incredible kills. Actually, Mixwell fluffing a little bit with the MAC-10, but recovers nicely enough. And in the end, only losing 2 players. They did have a lot of those SMGs purchased anyway.
All right, this is brutal. Fallen's going to be on the AWP, though. Taco, I mean, these 2 kills were great. He almost even got that 3rd. Gets those so quick that he has a chance here to turn with those 6 bullets and find this, but it doesn't happen. So where does Fallen go? He's going to go solo towards the B bomb site. There's going to be a deep smoke for him. And he's going to have the op. He'll have to man down Banana all on his own, which is not a bad call considering the amount of times they've lost this A bomb site. But there's the flashbang out, and he finds the timing. Mixwell peeks a little bit too soon before it pops.
We really haven't seen much of this AWP. As said, Fallen, this is one of the first rounds I think we've seen it coming out, if I'm not mistaken. It may have been featured, I may have missed it, but do correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I believe this is the first time.
So again, it's given the chance for that 4-1 split. Fallen taking a lot of the weight on his shoulders individually to at least do some damage, which he's already done, and keep this site safe, at least for the early start. But again, Daps keeping control over by A, not giving that up completely, keeping his presence around this one, denying them any information if they try to go and gather it. And Optic splitting up quite a lot here, just 2-2 kind of towards either side, and they are slowly grouping back towards B.
It almost feels like that's all that's left for him at the moment. I mean, they have given up everything everywhere else, obviously. Daps now joining them, so this is going to be a B hit. They're lining up for it. Fallen's going to be towards CT spawn with that AWP. Fur's going to be in the site. He's got an M4. No utility on either of these. There's one decoy on Fallen. Can they time this? There it is. They wait for the flash. They wait for the smoke this time. Now the Edgerton bomb site comes. He's so close to nailing this through the smoke, but they just run right through. Daps eliminates him with an AK-47. Fur's still alive. Jumping around the corner. He can get one, but it's good trades. It's down to a 3-on-3. No kits, no utility for either teams. And Cold's got to be very wary of this position. He seems like, I mean, he's definitely going to check it. You could just see it on the screen.
And unless someone drags the detention away, there's nothing else going to come from that. And you can see it. Daps still makes the most of it. Cold Zero is so aware that's a possibility, but Daps goes back in for another. Finds out where that remaining player was, at least pushing through from CT, and now FNX
Don't
going,
want that.
Nope, not what I wanted. That'll do. Get away with the M4, because you spotted out on that retake. They had no utility, not much else to work with, and they still went for it, and, well, didn't get much out. Optic really starting to stretch their legs here.
Yeah, and this is that entire point of not having a strong economy on the CT side. It's so important on this map because retakes are crucial, and so he's just holding off these choke points, and they don't really have the smokes or the Molotovs for either end to run the clock down. So that's why, I mean, we saw that explosive style that Optic started out with. It just becomes more and more effective as the utility on the CT side is more and more broken. So it's going to have to be another save for LG. And they have to go for that retake in a 3-on-3, even without the flashbangs, even without the kits, because they're down 4-7. They simply have to see if they can do it.
This is getting... Okay, this is starting to become a really interesting game. At the very start of this, no one was back Optic. There was very few and far between win conditions that would mean they'd come into this and get it done. But they are starting to tick every single one of those boxes. And they can certainly be very pleased with this performance. Not only did they get Astralis down, they could have a chance to get in Luminosity on this map. Certainly a bit of a shame that Valve are now taking it away from the map pool in the future, but hey, I believe in you, Optic, now.
There's a lot of teams that'll be happy about it. Optic's not one of them.
No.
That's a good dink on the Mixwell.
Yeah, what is with the P250s today? We've already seen one incredible clip. Maybe there was another in the making there, but Mixwell will survive. I mean, a great amount of a loss if he did manage to fall down early, and trying to maybe bait in the chance of maybe you should go towards A, but you can see the slow and cautious approach from Optic, knowing they're coming up against more than likely a team on a pretty hard eco here with that. Just the P250 CZs, a touch of armor towards Taco and FNX with the M4, who did manage, of course, to save it from the previous round. So a tough one for Luminosity to try and hedge their bets in the correct place. A bit of a guessing game at this point.
They're hoping that this crossfire, this stack from Taco and Fur actually produces something, because if they get one kill over here, they've seen that Optic, when they lose a player, they want to go back towards that B bomb site. So this is what they're hoping, that some kind of presence in those apartments. Taco's been spotted out first, still in there, but hoping that Optic is once again going to fall back to this B bomb site where FNX is with the M4. Now that it's spotted out, though, they might not do it. Molotov to force him away. There's Fur and FNX. They each get 2 kills. Now it's a nightmare, but he's burning, and he just dies. He walks right back into it. It was a little bit blind. Perhaps he didn't know, but this provides an opportunity. Mixwell is still very, very low, and they're actually going to cut off Fallen. He's not going to be expecting this, but he gets a dink and he recovers anyways.
Incredible stuff from Fallen, information gathered, and a player down. Cold Zero is still alive, barely bearing in mind 22 HP, but he knows what's coming, and look at that time. 7 seconds, 6. If he can be a nuisance, if he can be a pest, that is more they can ask for. So they allow the bomb plant to go down. There's the pickup from Taco. He finds Mixwell, and now it's down to just Stanislaw. And there you have it. The P250 today are reigning supreme in the hands of the Brazilians. Luminosity going to pick up the round on what was a really dire situation for them.
Very smart by Cold, though. I mean, you could see, like you mentioned, the time was running down 6 seconds on the clock when that plant gets started. He had an opportunity to try and swing wide, win a fight, and stop the plant, just win the round based off time. But he's waiting for his teammates. He's trusting it, saying, we don't care if the bomb gets planted, because they still had so much money anyways. That 800 really is going to be too big of a factor. They just wanted to win the round, desperate for that. And now, I mean, they have to keep this up. They have to string them together. Fortunately, because they saved, they bring AK-47s into this next round. You can see there's 3 members there, FNX, Fur, and Taco, who all have plenty of money to survive, to drop weapons if needed in the next round.
So I haven't seen much from Naf on the AWP so far on the T side. Again, it's always a pretty tough one. There's very few people who are really, really proficient on the T side with the AWP, so a bit of a rarity, but hopefully you can get a good start. This seems to be the double AWP on the other side. Fallen and coldzera there, and Fallen already backing away a little bit from Banana as he is soloing out on B to start with.
Oh, that's a rare missmoke from Luminosity.
Well, he's not going to let it go to waste completely. Still going to try and peek around the side of it and make the best of a bit of an awkward situation there. And he will be going back around. Have a little look down, but it does seem as though Optic are backing away fairly here. And again, we hadn't seen that fast, quick A hit in a little while. They could always fall back to that if they feel they want to go for it. How do they want to play up against a double AWP setup? Have they found out yet that coldzera is running that? I doubt it, as he's sitting all the way by apps.
They're going to take control of top mid. Fur's the only one here that Smoke is going to isolate him as well, so he's just going to fall away. Smoke towards spawn side. Rap is now a little bit exposed. This is where all 5 members are heading for Optic. Oh, they're all blind. What a perfect flash from Cold. He only gets 1, but he has the intel. 3 members now coming up. The AWP is in perfect position on the Cold side of things, and he's waiting for them to cross into the site, but Taco's going to stop the first one. Looking good for Luminosity. There it is from Cold, jumping up on the truck. And Rush, the last one left. Cold's burning. He's got to get out of there, and Fallen is going to clean it out. So this time, Luminosity corral Optic into the bomb site and are able to systematically eliminate him from there.
The fact they stayed alive so long playing from pit, and I think it was... Where was it? Graveyard? Where was Taco in? I think it was by Graveyard. He's been playing there quite consistently, so him being able to stay alive that long was actually kind of impressive. No one able to rush him down or get any pressure, so by the time Optic got to site, it was kind of done for. But now, it's still a very good T side. Now, Optic have been left with very little money to work with, but it's a buy into everything because it's the final round of the first half. But coldzera going to spot out a good few running over towards B, so you can see Fallen pretty much ready for this one. Going to back away instantly. He knows he's going to be rushed down, but actually sticks out for the fight, and there goes Mixwell and FNX just tearing them up with the AK. And now Fallen going to buy time with a little cheeky pop flash over. Does actually end up hitting the side of it, so catches a bit of that flash himself and will get rushed down by Daps. And it does leave Daps in the 1v3. A little bit tough at this point, but let's see if he can manage to find anything through this.
There's a chance here. There's Cold. That's a one-on-one battle that Daps is able to find, so small mistake there from Luminosity. Down into a 1-on-2. Still a ways to go. They're being aggressive with this. I'm not sure he's going to be expecting it whatsoever. He throws that flash up. The shots are going to indicate they're out. He gets a second one, and he manages to live after this. Somehow, Fur has not responded to this kill, and he's stuck over by the grill, and he's got to play almost a game of chicken. There's 1 minute left on the clock for Daps to figure out how to win this battle.
I want to see it from Fur as well. Is he just going to hold the one angle and just lock it out? Or is he going to start going hunting as well? Daps.
So that drop, Daps just tries to make the sound as if he's dropping a gun to make Fur believe that he switched over to an AK or an M4. He doesn't want him to know he has the AWP because he wants him to be on the open exactly like that. He gets the fight he wants. Not able to do it. 7-8. Still a great half for Optic.
What a brilliant half for Optic. Let's not beat around the bush. That's a T side that we didn't expect to see from Optic, but again, they picked up those first 3, and a lot due to the fact of, I think it was Rush who came in really, really impressively throughout the pistol as well. Carried that forward. Yeah, exactly. Then they picked up that 4th round, and it seems they just kept going off the back of that.
Yeah, gained so much momentum early on, and that's the nightmare situation, is that Luminosity never able to establish that economy early on. But we are going to be heading into the second half now where Luminosity has to respond to that T-side.
Yeah, the gauntlet has been set now by Optic. They've set the bar incredibly high. So really for Luminosity, they need to get this one going. Just in case you missed it or you don't believe it, it is 8-7 in favor to Optic after picking up a pretty damn impressive T-side start here on Inferno. Now going into the T-side though, Luminosity have to get this one back in their control.
Yeah, and they have to start it out by doing essentially the same thing that Optic did to them. They need to win those critical rounds early on to keep control of the economy on the T side. They can't let Optic get too much on nades. That was, I mean, Optic won. The timing of the rounds they won was so good. And even Luminosity going on a 4-round win streak were close. They were, I mean, Optic was getting 3 to 4 kills in these rounds. So it's a beautiful chicken couple.
That's got to be Rush observing, doesn't it? Not
Just,
the in-game Rush either. That's probably Rush. I think Heather's too mature for that, you know. Or maybe the jet lag is really kicking in.
Just just looking to make some breakfast eggs, I think.
It would be better than what we had in the hotel. I'm not gonna lie. They were not great. I was having a discussion with who was it?
A riveting discussion it was.
But we are in game, guys. So let's actually not miss this because it's a massive play already coming out from Luminosity on the T side. FNX barging his way up towards B, and Naf finally puts Fur back.
That is so fortunate. Fur was about to run right through the smoke, and Naf just barely gets that kill, just tapping away. Very, very lucky.
I like this new UI update we've got here. It's very interesting, and again, this is just the Glock train. It's just coming in towards the station, and Rush is meeting it pretty well so far with that CC, but does eventually get overrun by Taco. Now down to a 3v2. The T-side still have the upper hand, and now Optic left with, again, a pretty tough task to play retake here.
Yeah, and that nade's not going to do too much, and now they're out of utility. No armor as well. Dapson now for the 2 players who bought up nades, who bought the kit, obviously, at that B bomb site, wanted to stall that attack out. Daps trying to get lucky again. And that's really what they have to rely on. They have to rely on a mistake or just to get a very fortunate shot through the smoke to even things out. I don't think they really have a chance here, and it almost looks like Naf is just saying, I'm going to save this kit.
To be fair, Nav did hit one of those ridiculous shots earlier on, just about to keep this round from spiraling very early. Daps just going to go in. He has actually not much to lose at this point. He has no armor, no utility, and Naf is going, yeah, all right, that kit seems pretty nice right now. Going to get out of here. And Luminosity, just that Glock train was pretty ridiculous.
Could have been worse as well if Naf doesn't hit that. The B bomb site could have just been absolutely lost very, very quickly. So 8-8, Luminosity do start things out on the right foot. And this is where they get very dangerous because they do love these Mac-10s. And as silly as it sounds, they are such strong players with them. But this is where they can really build up a bank early on in this half. They've got 4 SMGs, so 4 players looking for bonus money. Even the UMP, if needed, can be brought into the 4th round, into the first buy. An investment out of Optic. 5.7s and CZs with armor. Very light on nades, only 1 flashbang on Daps and nade onto Nafly, and it's going to drop it there. It does barely any damage.
Yeah, just kind of trickled down towards Banana, didn't get much more. Naf going to be forced back here eventually. You can see the molly's kind of being put into the correct corners to clear them out to allow Luminosity the chance to move up safely. Naf's still so desperate for an angle on this one, but he's been kind of corralled around, and FNX just jumping with the UMP, just sending him back again towards the side. But look at where that bomb is. It is certainly not on B just yet. There's still a long way to go here for Luminosity to get that bomb down, and Optic just responding accordingly, falling back towards the sides, playing deep, holding those angles with the pistols, hoping they can do some damage, and there you go. That's Daps finding Fallen, and that's 1 Mac-10 removed.
And now it gets a little bit dicey, because now they're forced into this A-hit. They have no presence over towards Banana anymore. They've evacuated it. They don't have a lot of utility. 1 flashbang, 1 Molotov. Rush gets the next kill. Stanislaw combines onto 1. He almost gets Taco. That AK-47 is so important. It's got to do damage perched up. He's got to cover FNX, who's in the bomb site now. That's the big thing. Taco at least has perfect positioning up on this balcony and now into the pit to keep an eye on everything here. So 2-on-3 situation. And remember, Naf saved the kit in the pistol round, so he still has that to work with.
Yeah, and I think Daps just gave him the Mac-10 as well, as he has the armor and the most HP to play with, but FNX Eyes is trained so desperately on that push through from Library, from CT Arch, and here we go. Daps and Naf going to be trying to bait it out together, getting the information, and here we go. This is where it needs to happen. Naf needs to get the shot. He does. FNX goes down, and now as Taco gets overrun by Mixwell, and a great play coming out from Optic to retake this one and do the damage in a round they, on paper, didn't deserve.
What is happening right now? I mean, this is the brilliant part, too. Because they have that kit that allows the time, they can be patient and wait for Mixwell to go for that long flank through the halls.
Yeah.
They're not too worried about the timing of it whatsoever. So really, really smart and really patient by Optic to get around and have that kind of a play and crunch everyone. But I think the real surprise when we talk about this match is it just seems like the LG players a little bit flat, not hitting some of the shots we're used to them hitting.
Well, they are that kind of explosive team that have that ridiculous individual skill. You know, one of the highest, arguably, in the game. You could you know, compare them to the top teams. They individually, they are absolutely nuts. They're not just a tactical team, which they also have up their sleeve. So they had pretty much the full package at one point. But yeah, as I said, it's a bit weird not seeing them kind of nailing some of these shots that you'd see every other day of the week, it feels.
And their post plants. I mean, you got to remember, Optic's won a bunch, including the 1-on-4 with Rush.
True.
Winning a 2-on-3, I believe it was later on. And I mean, it's been very, very strong for Optic in the post plants. And so far, I mean, even on the CT side where they retake on a force buy. So good stuff so far. This time Luminosity, 4 Tech 9s. They haven't used anything. They have 5 Molotovs and 3 smokes. And they have no presence towards the A site. Ooh. And I do not like this call from Optic. They have rotated Naf towards CT spawn. He's actually closer to the A bomb site. It seems like they're so afraid. He's going to throw that smoke for B, so that might give them enough time for him to rotate back, see if there's any pressure at A before leaving. But Luminosity, knowing they have no control of the map, they might just want to execute right now.
Look at this set piece coming out from Luminosity. I want to see exactly where these mollies land. It will probably clear out Dabs. He's sitting by the first boxes, I think. And yeah, Naf isn't too far away. He's actually managed to pull himself back over, but they've slowed down the timing on the hit with the mollies, and there you go, raining from above. The fire comes in, and it will push Dabs right in towards the pool. And that's all he can do is just play by that fountain. Gets a little bit of fire done, but he's now surrounded, pressured, and it's Taco to get the kill. Now, Naf's found a good little spot here to watch across, but pinned in, he can't retreat. And again, utilizing those Tech 9s so well, defining the site to their own. Luminosity make B theirs.
Yeah, this is really, really nice, and it almost feels like a save call because Stanislaus still on the other side of the map. He's over in the A Hall, so they're just going to seed this round. So traded back and forth early on in the second half. Luminosity is going to get back up towards 9. A very nice round from them, and Optic can do absolutely nothing. It was a very solid execution on the A bomb side as well. They threw some nades out at first, and they waited a little bit. And then once they threw the Molotovs, they sent a couple players in. It's like they threw the smokes, and the players that threw the smokes were the ones priming up to rush into that B site. And once the Molotov came out, that's when they pushed forward, just when Daps was going to get forced out of position, so we had nowhere else to go.
And as I said that some of these players aren't hitting their shots, you start to see them nailing it. I think they even found another rifle to take back. Well, actually, they've got 2 UMPs out of that. It's not the end of the world. That's certainly an upgrade at this point, as they did just have those pretty much the Tech 9s coming into that one with all those mollies. But what a beautifully constructed round from Luminosity there. Absolutely love that sort of thing. It's been a while since we've seen all those mollies kind of being utilized like that. It became such a, a commonplace thing to see, but really nice to see that breaking back in for Luminosity now, who do have the rifles, a lot of utility. And on the other side, sadly for Optic, they're down a fair amount here. They have a bit to work with, but it's so far from ideal now.
So is the second round, though. So is the third round for Luminosity. So we're just going to throw everything we know out the window.
Because why not?
2 players at Banana for Optic. You can see Luminosity now, it almost seems like they're giving some respect over to Optic. Very passive setup, just a very spread out default. Not committing too much anywhere on the map. And they're going to have to eventually, you think when this smoke is going to go, this deep smoke in Banana, one, either Optic might just flat out fall back from it, or LG is going to take the opportunity to try and force the back nades towards Car, take an aggressive stance, at least get these B defenders back into the bomb site.
What do they choose? Daps is not a great flash then. In the end, it didn't actually go down far enough. It kind of got caught up by the tree. But they're still playing super close. And the CC's worked before, but there's a lot of mollies still in the hands of the T side, but they're just going to power through. Hopefully they do check this, but on the swing out, Daps will find the time to find Fallen, get the reload. Peeks back in. He can't do any more, though. Eventually overrun by Cold Zeros. So B controllers is starting to become the T sides in this one. Mixwell has edged himself over towards B, but again, you have to do some incredibly hard lifting there if he wants this. The bomb yet to commit, though, either side, so we could still see some play here from Optic.
Luminosity's in love with that trade over towards the B site. More than willing to drop Fallen for 2 kills there. It's forced Maxwell over, and it's forced the defense of the A site to be thin. Now they're going to fall back where they do have that AK-47 to contend with, and it looks like Maxwell is thinking about pressuring this. He's going to be close up. He's not playing in the site, right behind the smoke at the moment. He's going to push right through. He's going to walk right into him, and they find him just as the smoke clears. No chance for Mixwell trying to catch Luminosity off guard, and now it's going to be a B hit. It almost felt like with the clock dwindling down, he was priming up to have some kind of a fast flank down Banana.
I feel bad for him because if it worked and the timing was right, you probably get 2 of the 3 kills there, but just walking through smoke, not great at that point. So yeah, now Rush and Stanislaw looking to purely just try and keep hold of these weapons, or armor as it is for Stanislaw. They're pretty far away. They might get away with it. If anything, just kind of try and protect Rush at this point, who does have the M4 and the kit and the head armor and pretty much everything he needs. So yeah, keep him alive.
Pretty decent arsenal to bring into the next round. But now Luminosity finally, I mean, they traded rounds. The first 3 went back and forth. and then back again. But now finally it's Luminosity with 2 straight, so they're going to kind of break this cycle. Outside of this P250 light armor and the M4 on Rush, there shouldn't be too much of an investment from Optic. Now they've got to start saving up for the gun rounds, you know, the meat of this half.
So, actually, Stanislav found a Galil. Okay.
Right at the end? Not a bad find.
That's fine. So now they have 2 players with rifles. Rush only has a flash, and the others are hardy going pretty much. I know we do have the P250 for Mixwell, but otherwise Luminosity have everything they need. They've now got that AWP on Fallen. That's another nice addition. They could maybe get rushed down if you look at it that way, but I'm not sure how much they can do in those opening nades, forcing these guys back in. Well, Stanislav is completely blinded. FNX there, but Daps finds FNX, and okay, Naf finds Fallen. What is going on here?
That's the bomb as well.
What?
They now have the bomb and the AWP in Banana, so this is a nightmare situation. At least Mixwell is taken on the other side of the map, but it's an AWP and 2 rifles versus just 3 rifles. So at least all the utilities on the Luminosity side, they have Molotov, they have an HE grenade they can use, and a couple smokes as well to apply pressure here. But they've got to wait for the smoke.
Oh, this is scary. Daps has a molly as well, so he can buy additional time if he wants to, and they stuck out on Banana so long. And now they're going to be surrounded. So Fur could eventually work through CT if he wants to, but they have very little information as to where these guys are posted up. So it's actually pretty hard to hold this, considering Rush has to focus on the back. And then you have the 2 players watching down. Daps, got to be careful here. You know that counter boost can come through, and Taco's looking for a bit of a peek on it. And again, it looks like Luminosity getting ready to go into pretty much the slaughter here, or let's see who comes out on top. And oh, Nap, how have you got away with this? Nap finds 2 as he really shouldn't have. LG just do not check it, do not expect that spot to come out to play. And now it's all on Fur, and Fur finds 1 stunning shot towards Rush, and it's left Daps on 4 HP, 35 seconds. Fur is doing some serious hero level work here, but can Daps undo what has been done? Yes, he keeps it in hand just at the end. But what was that position, and how did Naf get away with that?
There's no reason he should. I mean, you have to assume if you're Luminosity, that's got to be checked. How does this not get checked? I mean, the smoke is down. I assume that smoke was to cut anyone off who was playing there from the rest of his teammates, and it would have been perfect for him. Naf's even looking into the wall, expecting a flashbang at some point. So
he turns around like, hi,
the
guys.
definition of a free kill, and he gets away with 2 instead. So some fundamental errors coming out for Luminosity now. Maybe the pressure getting to him, not expecting this level of resistance out of Optic, and they're reeling a little bit.
I'm getting a little frustrated. I think that can be maybe something they'll be looking at here. But again, Luminosity, they can calm themselves down. They've been in tough situations before. They are pretty much the reigning champions at the moment. If you want to argue it that way, they should be able to deal with a little bit of pressure. However, Optic giving them a fantastic game of CS now. And finally, maybe Luminosity just slowing down the pace a bit here. They, again, not exactly perfect in this round. Coldzera only working with the Tech 9 with a bit of utility to support it. And I think we're seeing the boost going out. Yeah, Rush is just going to pop himself up on there. For just caught on the weapon switch, I think he was just maybe kind of got caught out on that one because he was looking towards it. So a little bit of an error again. And Rush just holding that nice vertical, well, higher angle, shall I say, in case Coldzera walked around with that bomb on back.
Yeah, again, very surprising to see these kind of unforced errors out of Luminosity. It's usually what they're very, very strong on. And this allows Optic to just play passive. They just decided to turtle up in the site. Rush lets that Molotov fall behind him. It's not burning him. Hasn't even moved. And Mixwell with the op on Rap side. Does look like they want to attack that. Fallen is there with the AWP, at least to maybe peek or force him back. Another Molotov comes out. That's into the choke point as well. It's going to slow this down. So Taco has all this attention he's gathering, all this utility he's using, but it's not amounting to anything because of the Molotov. Now, Optic is still staying in the B bomb, so they haven't rotated anyone over. Not cheating, so it is very much just these 2 defenders in the bomb site. That's Rush, and then in the pit, that's Stanislaw.
And there you go, Fallen finding Stanislaw is going to open up an avenue, but will they expect Rush here? This is, again, a curious position, but he just sprays him wildly, and Fallen just plucks him out in a very slow hit. What, 5 seconds left in that round? The bomb does get planted. And as you said, Optic didn't really put players over there early. They only kept Mixwell close enough, and he's very close to this site, though.
And he's going for this where his teammates are so far behind. He's so far moved up. Luminosity don't have eyes on this. They're so scared to peek at the moment.
How has Mixwell got this far? Coldzera and Taco haven't seen it. They're playing for the bomb plant, sure, but this is dangerous to let Mixwell this close. He's going to peek into Fallen, though, and Fallen already with, what, 3 kills makes it 4. Fallen! Oh, Fallen! Above and beyond. Sick play from him with the AWP. 5 kills. To do,
that's so dirty.
How much can one man do?
That's so dirty that he just does that. And even on top of that wasn't even the most spectacular play he had. It's killing Rush, who's jumping up on the box over the smoke while the bomb is being planted. If he doesn't get that kill, the round's over. That was the big one. Here, I mean, the second no-scope, you can see he's all, I mean, yeah.
I'm done. I'm just gonna take a little moment here. You know, I'm just gonna curl up in a ball and just cry a little bit.
Oh, how heartbreaking would this be for Optic after the first half if Luminosity is able to just muscle them around from here on out? So they're going to have to respond yet again. They've done so much. There's Daps down, trying to go for the challenge, and it's the Map1 that wins it.
Yeah, being forced back now by those mollies, pushing them away from those close angles that work so hand in hand with the Mag-7s and the pistols that currently Optic are sporting. And again, Fer just working his way in closer, looking to make some more bank. And there is still a man in the smoke, Stanislaw. Gets a good chance with the 5-7, good damage towards Fer as well, so that's going to be a little bit of a scalp claim, but bearing in mind Luminosity have not committed here, that bomb did not work its way up towards B, and I think Rush and Mixwell probably aware of that at the moment, so they're very hesitant to commit over with Stanislaw here.
Should be a pretty easy, a pretty standard round for the rest here, but I mean, this is a full investment from Optic, so it's a little bit brutal. They did get reset pretty hard. So you imagine Mixwell and Rush going to keep those Mag-7s into the next round, just concede this, not even lose it, because they're going to need some kind of weaponry in the next. But either way, good opportunity. Luminosity now, this time they only lose Fer. They're going to survive with 4 members alive. They're going to build up that money, build up that bank, and coming into crunch time, that's going to be so important if they can continue to buy in the rounds forward.
And this is scary times for Optic overall, because we said at the start, you know, while Luminosity, they weren't hitting those crazy shots. They weren't playing that crazy individual level of skill. And maybe, just maybe, we're starting to see a couple of players starting to wake up here.
What's insane, and Optic has got to feel kind of a bummer for this, because Luminosity, despite losing 2 rounds early on, have controlled the economy. We're now, what, 7 rounds into the second half, and Optic haven't really had a full buy quite yet. They've had to buy in really awkward positions. They've had some utility and some rifles, obviously, but
yeah.
I mean, they haven't really been able to have any kind of comfort situation. So they've got to be a little bit bummed out and a little bit stressed that they haven't been able to get what they want.
And how much experience is Optic going to have of having these sort of leads over teams like Optic and having to build off them and not just get ground down by Luminosity? We'll see how that comes through in the last couple of rounds that are coming up. We are at 12-10 at the moment. Luminosity just about taking over that lead. You can thank Fallen for a bit of that, but all right, Mixwell, welcome back into the game. Fallen again, though, going to take the challenge, and he is hitting some ridiculous shots here, even though it was against Nico. This guy is getting warmed up, and that is a bad sign for Optic fans.
It almost seems like Fallen, he gave his team a lot of this match to kind of come alive and to make some plays and do what they normally do. And since they haven't done it, he's just, all right, guys, I'll do it. I'll take it from here. I'm the captain. Yeah, and look at how dominant he's been. That ace in the round, a crucial round for them to win. This time, there's opening 2 kills after losing a player. Just some sick performances out of him. He's at 25-13. His next teammate is FNX, who's at 17-14. So a very, very strong impact carry out of Fallen in this match.
How ridiculous is it that you have a player who's an in-game leader and can do this sort of stuff? And Rush is just trying to stay alive at this point.
I'll tell you how it's possible, because that is always the conversation. How do in-game leaders actually manage to get kills? And the fact is, I mean, Luminosity, one of the best-known teams for their practice habits, for their preparation. And when you're an in-game leader that's been playing with a lineup for this long, and you have that kind of a practice, you can get lax on the leading, because you've drilled this into your team. You've drilled the fundamentals. You've drilled exactly how you guys want to play rounds and situations out. So when it gets into these situations, he's just supremely confident that they're going to do what they've practiced. So he doesn't have to sit there and micromanage everyone. He's gotten it to the point where he can take less of his attention on the in-game leading side. Yeah.
And, well, we're seeing that coming through in the last couple of rounds where he's started to thoroughly shine. But we are seeing, again, not a great buy from Optic. As you said, they really haven't had those full buys coming in with all the utility they want. Or maybe an AWP. It's always been a little stretched here or there. A UMP with NAF. And then, even a Famous for Daps as well. This is still not great for them. They're going to have to try and deal with this as best they can. Coming up against Luminosity with absolutely everything they need. And already Rush just gets hammered down by Fer, and I'm pretty sure they saw Stanislaw, so that's a big pickup going in towards Apps, and now the gates are open towards A, and it's just Mixwell standing there and having to deal with a lot of Brazilians about to come his way.
Yeah, and slowing things down from here is Luminosity. They're waiting to see what kind of rotation is going to come out in the smoke base. Just as Mixwell in the open, they almost line up for him, but Fallen is the one, of course, to get that kill. Naf applies some pressure, but FNS trays him off, and now it's a 1-on-3. Daps rotating from the B bomb site. His position is already known as well. Doesn't get that kill, so this turns into an impossible situation from him. 0% chance, I would say.
0?
0% chance that Daps wins this round.
I'm not going to dispute it. You look at me like I'm like, but there's always a chance, Moses. No. No. It's all right. Once upon a time, I had hopes and dreams, and things always been possible. And then I casted with you for a while, and it just keeps you real down to earth.
Oh yeah, is that how it's gonna be?
Oh please, Ninja, defuse it just to make this the best thing in the world.
I'd get up and leave. I would just get up and
What?
leave.
Dabs, no!
I saw it coming, and actually, I did have to pause for a second. I was like, oh god.
What have I done? But this is the first map, bearing in mind these are best of threes. And a lot of said, you know, if Inferno does go Optic's way, this was the kind of like pushing the possibility limits, then we have a game. But the problem being with Overpass coming up next, it's going to be a really tough one for Optic going into that. But this one's not over, it's 14-10, but it looks like Optic, well, you know, what can they do in this round? Their money's been pretty much trashed throughout this entire half, sadly. And well, they're working with what they've got here, which isn't a lot.
Yeah, and they're actually, I mean, they're playing for overtime.
Yep.
They could have invested in this round. They wouldn't have had rifles again, but maybe they're just saying, all right, finally, like, screw it. We're just going to save this round because we haven't really had that, like, the strongest buy that we could possibly have.
Yeah.
So we want at least one round.
Let's see if we can actually do it.
All the Molotovs, maybe an AWP out. But then they have to go on a 5-round tear, so and that's going to be the tough part of it, especially because Luminosity, Fallen's got 7K, Cold has 10K, Taco's right under 8K. So I mean, there's so much money built up that Luminosity can buy through a losing or buy while a losing bonus builds up. They can basically buy for the rest of this half no matter what happens.
Luminosity looking stronger now. Fallen starting to fly the flag and look incredibly powerful. Not going to bode well coming into the next couple of maps, no matter what the first map score is. And so far it does look like Luminosity are going to get at very least a match point here. See if they can go beyond that. All right, Mixwell again being found. Fallen just going to claim that one to begin with, and well, we still have 3 players stacked here for Optic Gaming, so they hopefully can do a little bit more damage. Swinging out into that, probably not going to go so well. And Dab's going to at least get a good bit of work done there towards Cold Zero and Fallen, but very, very tough to follow on, as now they know his position, and now they get towards 15.
It's almost like Fallen's like putting on like a free Games Academy lesson for everyone tuning in to this match.
Maybe that's the plan.
It is the plan.
You reckon?
Well, he
like
did say he was going to start doing
English, yeah.
But I
This
mean,
is
yeah,
it.
you're
This
into
is
it.
the start.
He's like, all right, yeah, here's the first one, guys. A little taste of what's to come. Inferno is going to be the map of the day.
It's on discount at the moment due to the fact it'll be out of the pool soon, but make the most of it while you can. So 15-10, Optic now finally get that double AWP into play. They have enough utility, enough to play with here that they can sustain hopefully through a couple of instances. And oh, Mixwell, you don't want to poke the bear. All right, he backs away from that one. He's been caught out there in mid a couple of times, and by the man you're seeing right now, Fallen just holding the angle, seeing if he gets anything coming his way. And actually, Dabson. Yeah, Daps is coming over towards A very early on into this.
Yeah, they have NAF over towards the B bomb site alone with an AWP, so it's switched into a double op setup. Luminosity, the question is, are they going to figure this out, or are they going to get punished by it, and that's how they find out. This defense has at least been forced to be passive, so Luminosity, they can gain control of top mid. This could deny information. Daps is going to be on ramp side, but he falls. Such a low percentage play for Daps to make there, and Cold punishes it.
Clutching at straws possibly, or...
Well, now there's no one to rotate back towards NAF
Yeah.
if he feels any kind of pressure. That was kind of the one thing. Mixwell could be, he's going to have to be the early rotate over towards the B bomb site, but he has an AWP. So 2 ops to defend this B bomb site, and 1 op is going to get smoked off.
And well, let's see what NAF can do. He's about to receive a hell of a lot of attention. FNX and Fallen working their way up already, and okay, thank you FNX, that's very kind. That's a start, and that's pretty much information gathered. They can now dedicate 2 players there. Yeah, they are both the op, so not quite what you'd want in theory, but with 25 seconds left, LG have to make their move pretty soon.
Waiting for some kind of presence. There's the second op, and they're not expecting that one. So there's the double op setup. Fallen thinks he's going to take an opportunity, but he doesn't realize it's a double op setup until just now. It's too late. That was the question, were they going to get punished by it first, and they did. Yeah, 10 seconds left on the clock. Fur's got to have a good entry. Doesn't spot that player to his left in the smoke. That's Rush in the bomb site. Now they're going to have to plan here, and Rush is going to stop it. This time it works out. The round's over.
Rush knew that was the only place that could be planted in that situation. He just dives on top of the box to deny any chance of that. Taco will survive on 1 HP. But yeah, that AWP bait on B was actually pretty nice in the end.
Yeah.
A little ridiculous that actually worked in a way, but it did. It paid off perfectly. But let's look at the money here because, again, you said it before that Luminosity can suffer through a couple of round losses. They had a lot of money built up, which, as you can see, they're perfectly fine. And again, it looks like Optic have enough to reinvest into this one. Still pretty close on money, and NAF going to go for a bit of a Bit of a run through and actually peeked down towards second mid. That could have been dangerous and does opt away from it.
So smart for Luminosity. That's the adjustment because they know there's a double op setup. They just molly off that room. Naf wanted to make that play, wanted to take a peek towards alt mid, and they just prevent the danger before it even begins. So nicely done, and now encroaching. This is going to be a waterfall out of the apartments.
This could hurt a hell of a lot. They all know what they say about chasing waterfalls. Let's find out. Rush going to be receiving this with Naf. Naf finds Spur right in the midair, and they know exactly where they're going. Great crossfire coming through until FNX finally breaks it. Naf does go down, but by that point, here comes the reinforcements. And again, Optic withstand the rush so far. But then there is still Fallen. And there we go. He does get picked up. No chance for brilliance this time for him. And okay, they lost out on Naf. He's got enough money to rebuy in this. 15 to 12.
Yeah. Chasing waterfalls Optic, that's best TLC impression I've seen in a while.
Thanks.
You started it.
Wait.
Either way, that's sick from Optic to stop that. I mean, because that was the kind of explosive tactic out of that kind of explosion from Luminosity is what we saw out of Optic in the first half. So, I mean, knowing how to defend it, obviously, Naf's going to go for that same play. Is there going to be a Molotov here?
Oh,
there
Naf,
is.
no.
And they even pre-spammed it. I mean, you could just see Luminosity is ready for that play because they know they still have the two ops on the board.
Yeah, and you literally saw that firing squad in X-Ray. If you saw him walk in, it was like, no, Naf, anything but that. And great intuition, though, from Luminosity. As you said, I really like the thought process to how they approach coming into this with that double orb setup. And actually, it was something that Threat was talking about when he was casting with, I think it was DDK, and it's how teams approach differently to knowing there's double ops in practice and how Threat likes to do it on things like Mirage. What do they go for? And actually, Luminosity was the team he was discussing at the time. So quite curious to see it being such an integral role in this one.
You'd hope that Luminosity knows how to counter it because it's something they're so very good at. So the fact that they use it so often should kind of expose some of the weaknesses, at least in their mind, of what they can do to exploit it. And the best answer you can have, especially on a map like Inferno, is force them to rotate, force them to be mobile, force them into retaking bomb sites where they're so much less effective. And right now they're just lining up for a B execute.
And first couple of smokes coming in. Couple of flashes to follow. No initial hit. The following flashes will probably come in any second now. They still have the mollies as well to put down. Now, is still in library, so he's a pretty long way off from supporting Daps and Mixwell here. So they are so hesitant, and Mixwell might be walking into the... Well, there you go. The shot of Fallen. He picks that one up nice and comfortably. Now Daps needs to survive. He needs to sustain and just keep himself in this one. The flash didn't catch that many. Taco, FNX, and Coldzera joined by Fallen, all waiting for a chance and opportunity to do some damage here. The flash comes out so well. FNX working off the back of it, and look at the time. They've run it down so low. It's down to Naf, it's down to Rush and Stanislaw to keep this game alive, and the bomb has just been planted in time.
FNX trying to spray him down. He does find Stanislaw. Looked a little bit sketchy for a moment. Rush now on the flank. He's going to walk right into the op. Textbook from Luminosity in this last round. They figure it out. And Naf with the op. He gets one, but too many bullets to contend with. Cole takes him down. So 16-12. Luminosity's tested early in this series. But watch that last round.